Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm working on my winter piece again. You may not see yet, but just here is the fudge. He's had his breakfast. I'll just tilt the camera a little bit. And he's at the moment smooching on the edge of a container. He's rubbing his cheeks on that container. So he's just standing there off camera slightly. So, well, what did I do for homework? I finished all of my leaves. So I've stitched into the background everywhere where I believe there is a background at this stage with either some weaving stitch in a grey or the variegated stitch into some little leaves. I added this stem. I realised there was a little catchment point there for that rose. So I feel like I'm finally ready to advance onto some flowers. So that's what I want to play with today. And I'm thinking I might work up into here. That'd be a lot going on there. Hey Fudge, I'm gonna mosey on. If I put the container here that you're scruffing your mush on over here, Pussy might walk towards it. Yes, we are graced with a tail, but he's happy. All right, well, I don't think I'm going to need these greens anymore. I just grabbed the whole bundle of them and plonked them here. Maybe they'll sneak back in a little bit. So let's just get ourselves a little bit organised. I had these put aside because I feel like they could be something. Probably not that one. I think I need to hold greys close by. The chocolates will be for the little bird, the variegated, and another grey. Might stay with that. Okay, so let's grab the threads. That unusual colour there. Gosh, lately I've been challenged with these colours that I just don't have in my stash. I wonder. See, it's a blue, isn't it? It's a dove blue. The problem I think, oh, that's pretty good. The problem I have with this piece is I love the colour scheme. So I do not want to reinvent anything. So it's really going to be a case of if I don't actually have the colour, I might have to go further afoot and take my piece to Dewdrop Inn where they have a lovely range of threads. And see, that's pretty good. Maybe I do. So it's not until they come out of this tightly packed little spot that you actually see the colour for what it is. That's not bad. It's probably a little bit dark, but it's not bad. It would give us a definite shading difference. Now in here, this is like a nutmeggy tone. A little bit bright. Sort of want it more subdued, don't we? What about these two? That's pretty close. There we go. I might be able to pull this off without finding a reason to go to a fabric store. Okay, I don't think, maybe I go just for a little extra. It's definitely not the right colour, mind you. It sort of needs to be a more chocolate tone. Okay, here we go. Like a dirty brown. More than that. Put that one away. That's not it. I know I don't have the colours in DMC Pearl Cotton or Wonderfil. Not a chance. So I am heavily reliant on my stranded cottons, but that's okay. See, there's that. Gee, so close. That's probably a bit too caramel. That's good. Ooh, That's actually really, see the difference there? That's got a pink undertone. Yeah, that's definitely not. So if that was the dark one, that's the light one. That's the very light one, and that's the dark one. Have we got them all covered? There is a sketchy highlighted one there, like a chocolate, but I'll go back to the branch colour, I think. I'm just glancing across again. There is that creamy white there as well, which I don't actually have a cream out. I might go for a pearl actually, because that will give me something quite chunky, so I can play a little bit more in the centres. Very creamy. What about this pearl cotton? Now I've got a mess. This is just a little bit too much wound onto that. Now that's too cream. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that because I honestly don't think I need any more than that. Isn't it just gorgeous? I'm going to do a quick tidy up, guys. I've got all these little greens sitting here and they're not needed. Oh, see, now I've got one that's not wound and another one. I just tidied this, seriously, and another one. Oh my goodness. I don't think I'm going to need him, but I am going to need these. Now, which one was actually the one I used? That one. So we'll put this little fellow away as well. And I thought I would need that, but I'll leave him and him hang around. They're actually greener than I thought. Maybe I can use them, you know, randomly somewhere. We'll see. So that's pretty much my little colour palette. There's my little container that... All right. So let's get stitching. We need a nice juicy needle. Where are you? Something with a bit of sturdiness to it. Now, what I might do is, like I did with the leaves, start at the back and work forward. So I might get this guy started, I think. That'll really test our colours. Now, I think I want the 6 strands. That's only 3. So what I'll do is I will use that, but we'll double it. That'll get me back to the 6, and that'll get rid of that little scrappy bit. As much as I've sort of gone off of stranded cottons a little bit, you know, they're pretty good for getting a great range of colours. They're pretty good for getting different thicknesses. So, you know, I tend to drift back to them a little bit. Oh, that's perfect. See, I just did that stitch and I can barely see where it went in. So I'm thinking, because it's the end of a flower, I'll just do a little satin stitch. Just scooch along that edge. Now, because I've knotted that and it's, you know, the needle is within the loop of thread, I just need to take my time and make sure that everything's laying flat. Otherwise you can end up with a bump as your hand sort of moves through the thread and around the thread. It sort of roughs it up a little bit. Gosh, that is such a good match. I so want to keep as close as I can to the colour scheme. The leaves did get a little bit off scale, but I think it'll all come together. If I find that, for example, some of those greens aren't quite right, if anyone's bugging me, it's that guy. I can always stitch over it, so it's never lost, if you know what I mean. I also need to have a think about what am I going to do in these gaps. Because that decision will then lead up through here. There was a stitch I spotted the other day that popped into my mind and thought, oh, I wonder if I could do that in the background. And I think it's 2 stitches, then 2 stitches. 2, 2, 2, and sort of like seed stitch, but a little bit bigger. And they're in pairs. Sometimes I put them in 3s. Whether that's too much of a stitch for that space, I might need to actually do seed stitch because it's too heavy. So now popping over to this little petal. Going to run out of thread very soon, but that's okay. So I know that that works. That is a great colour. He will pop up again, 610. The only thing that makes me nervous about DMC stranded cottons is they've changed a lot of the colours. So ones that you used to get are just slightly different or completely missing. So that makes me a little concerned, but at the end of the day, with slow stitch pieces, you can work around it, you know, bring a colour in that's similar and blend it back in. It's different if you're doing a cross stitch and you're committed, and it's probably best you go and get all new threads, I'd say, especially if you've got threads like my lot here that are probably 30-year-old now. It might be best to revisit all of the colours prior to starting a project. I actually had an email from a company wanting to know if I wanted to do an affiliation, and they're predominantly cross stitch. And I thought, oh, hang no, I'm not into cross stitch anymore. Gone are those days. I like more freedom, I think, with my work. But they had a fantastic accessories section, tools. But I didn't end up pursuing it because I thought they'd be thinking I want to do cross stitching and all I'm interested in is thimbles, scissors, pin cushions, all the toys that go with our world. Now that's a bodgy knot. I will have to put some little stitches in that at some point just to make sure that that's anchored. All right. Very good. So this little guy, what's his story? He's only, oh, seriously? Oh no. 1 thread missing. I'm going to use it. I thought that was 4. So the one I just used could have gone back to this and I would have had 6. But no, it's 5. So that's okay. I'm going to use this little piece as is, because 1 stitch is not going to be noticed. So I will just pick up where I left off. And just start stitching. I dropped into my local op shop too. I picked up some Valance curtains. But they're not what you're probably thinking. They're this fabric. And they're like a mossy green. Just 1 piece. It was $3. It's probably about 1.5 meters long. It's a great khaki green tone. Not sure what I'll use it for, but yeah, it sort of caught my eye and I thought, well, it's a good green, you know, even if I can make leaves out of it somewhere. I do not need 1.5 meters of it, mind you. Having said that, I thought it could be the base for pages to create a journal. So I sort of got in the back of my mind the new Roxy creations, the girls, the study of a field note journal, because it's got that earthy tone. And I thought, well, instead of using calico, which is normal for me, maybe I use that as the base, the concertina pages, because it's 1.5 meters long. So I've washed it. I don't think it's ever been washed in its life because it feels new, but it's got the sizing in the fabric, so it's sat beautifully on the table. And I thought, oh, I'll give it a wash, crinkle it up a little bit. So I've done that. And there's like a pleated section where you could run a rod through. It's like a cafe window. That's probably what it is. It's very unusual. So I thought, well, there's a little bit of unpicking there, and that would open up the fabric some more. So I picked up that, and I've actually got the bits and pieces as well that I picked up in the lace department sitting here because I washed them, nappy sand them all. And I walked back into the room to start this. And let me just finish this leaf, girl. Look, she's getting sidetracked. Yeah, I walked back in to start filming this with you guys, and I passed the laundry and they were hanging on the rack drying. And I thought, oh, I'm on my way. I better take them to the nest and pop them away. So they're sitting here just off camera, and I thought, oh, well, might as well show you. There were 2 little Ziploc bags, 50 cents per bag. And I thought, well, there'd have to be some good morsels in there. And then a couple little doilies. There are a few more there, which I nearly bought, but they just weren't amazing. So I thought, I'm just taking up space with some pretty ordinary little doilies. So one more stitch, I think, just to make that feel a little thicker. You can definitely see that I've used one less thread in that, you know. That's better. That's lovely. That's a little bit flat. I might just scoot to there next. I wonder where Fudge went. He must have went back to bed. It's a bit chilly this morning, as chilly as Burrum gets as we go into winter. I put it this way, yes, I have a cardigan on, but a very lightweight cardigan. A t-shirt, 3/4 length to the ankle shin jeans, which I wear all the time, and no shoes on. So that's as chilly as it gets. I probably should put shoes on because I think if I went outside, I'd certainly lose the warmth through my feet. But sitting here with you guys with a mat under my feet, I certainly don't think I'm in winter. Okay. So I believe you'd be watching this after Susanna has left. So I'm filming this 2 days before getting Susanna. So I thought I better, I think it's the Friday after. Oh, my tummy's rumbling already. I believe, well, let me have a look. Hang on. Let me get my story straight, hey? Have a little look in the diary. So, yeah. So you're watching this the 28th of June. Oh my gosh, the end of the financial year is here upon us. And Susanna flies back to Ballarat on the 27th, so the day before. So I wonder what adventures we got up to. Oh my goodness. I couldn't sleep last night. I got to send her a message and say, I'm now losing sleep with the anticipation of your arrival. So yeah, it's Tuesday for me, the week prior to when you're watching this. So Pepper and Bandit are getting a bath today. I'm meeting for the first time their new doggy wash lady. So I hope that goes well. And I need to wash the car, vac the carpet, mainly in here because there's threads everywhere. What else is on my list? That's about it. So then Wednesday, tomorrow, I'll be going into Hervey Bay to get the groceries for the week. Need to get a few treats, a few things for cheese platters and things like that. So this would have all taken place. This would be quite odd. You'd be thinking, yeah, we know all that, girl. I've already done all that. But, you know, I'm living my life today. You guys are reflecting on my life a week ago. It's funny, isn't it? It's the only way to keep up with social activities and, you know, stay in front is to film in front. It's the only way. And I have so many projects on the go at any one time for you guys. So it sort of allows me to be a week to 2 weeks in front of you. Plus, I get all of the projects out of the way that are set in stone, like this one and Botanical Beauties and Susanna's calendar project. And that then leaves me with free little slots through the week for whatever the Roxy girls are up to. So it's great because I sort of feel like I've got these great projects to continue with. And then these randoms come in amongst it, depending on prompts from the girls or, you know. So I've been thinking at the moment about the July project, field notes based around the activities of one Edith Holden, who was quite a adventurous botanist. So, yeah, thinking about my environment. I'm sure there'll be a video I'll do next week for you guys, July, with my thoughts on it all. I've got a couple ideas. The one idea I love and I really want to do it, but I can't quite link seasons to it. Maybe it might be okay, but I'm a little concerned that the season element might be a bit devoid from it because the seasons just don't really change for me here. So it's a study of my environment. So I'm pretty sure I'll do it, but the seasons is a nice element to have. I've really enjoyed stitching the seasons with these pieces because I've washed through different colour palettes, and I know that that would occur in the journal as that, you know. So maybe, this is me thinking out aloud, guys. Goodness knows what I'll actually say in a video dedicated to the whole volume 6. Maybe I need to do 2. One that is based on the world of Edith, and in that world comes in all these wildflowers and, you know, a real freedom to explore. And then the second journal, yes, you heard it here first, 2, would be my environment now. But I just don't think we're going to see much of a seasonal change, which is where I'm at with my thinking at the moment. How many threads is in that? 6. So we got another one will double. I might save that actually for a small area because I want to make sure, like in around that flower, I want to make sure this petal is nice and strong, flat and bold with my stitches. So that little brown colour is great. Let's have a look at my scraps here before we go. So the one little bag just had this piece of lace. So it's a cotton eyelet lace. Isn't it pretty? Even just for a little element. Like, look at that. Little scrolly shape. So really happy with that little guy. I'll tuck him into my stash of bits and pieces. Okay, then the other bag was morsels. You know what the girl thinks are morsels. So I got this lace. It's very unusual. And look, someone's been nibbling before me. So really nice little piece. And then a couple pieces of gauze with some little flowers on them. They're always handy. Just little pieces. So like that, and another one. Then this little piece. Whoops. Love to know its story. What was someone making? It's very unusual. And another little piece. That one's a good one. Look at that. Lots of little elements on that. Then a little crocheted motif. So that was all 50 cents. Plenty of value for someone like me there. Got threads everywhere. And these were the two little doilies. Aren't they unusual? I've never seen, oops, upside down. Never seen those before. A few little stains on them, but they've pretty much come out bar that one. So really pleased with that. The crocheted edge that this person has put on this is really pretty. See how they've done a little scallop, then come back to create their lattice, and then from that lattice, away they went again. Very pretty, very fine work. So I like that. I like squares. And then squares that have little peaks like that. Very cool. Look, it's all come undone the stitching. You can just make out the print on the fabric. Look, it's all come undone there. Oh, I love it. Rescued little one. All right, stop mucking around, girl. So let's have a look at this pale golden colour. It's probably a little bit bright, but I think I'm okay with that. I think it'll blend still. So let's start this petal. We'll come into the bottom and into there. So for me, like I said, I'm a week before you. I've been chatting to Jennifer Clouston about her new book, and I'm still waiting for the book from the publishers. It hasn't arrived yet, so the anticipation is building, as you could well imagine. Check my letterbox daily. I think my mail only comes once every 2 days. I'm pretty sure Australia Post has implemented that announcement. Maybe they haven't yet, but to feel like I'm only getting a letter every other day. So, yeah, Jennifer's been like down with family in near Canberra somewhere. She did say the name in one of her latest videos. And I was like, oh my gosh, the anticipation is just killing me, let alone being the author. Could you imagine? As of yet, it hasn't popped up. So I guess if you're watching this video and you've already seen me review the book, well then forget that conversation because it did arrive. Maybe it arrived for me today. So the date for me stitching this would be the 18th. And you guys are watching it the following Friday. Not this coming Friday for me, the following one. So maybe that book will turn up and you may have already watched me drooling through those pages. Did you see her video showing the work? Oh my goodness. Beautiful. And I love the concept of building on, and then the little details that sometimes your brain just doesn't go there and you come up with those finer details. And I remember when I did my classes with her, I only did the 2 due to time constraints. It was okay, go in with this again, go in with this again. Where I thought I'd finished. I did the flower and I was like, oh, so beautiful, I'm done. And she's like, no, go in with this, do this little stitch. Drop your thread down to a thread that is from a reel of cotton, or one strand of this thread. It just took it to a whole new level. And that's what I get the impression this book is about, because she showed the stitched examples of the little flowers that build, and then another row and another row. So I think this is going to be the next stage for us. We've sort of been playing with the stitches, but it's going to help us to think outside the box a little, is my impression of the book. I hope I'm not talking out of school having not got the book in my hand, but that's sort of the impression I got from looking at her samplers that went to the publisher. I don't know about you guys, if you picked up on the same. Either way, the anticipation. My goodness, I saw a few American artists with their hands on the book, which was quite bizarre, and that was what we were chatting about, that some of the American stitchers out there have got the book, and even we don't have the book. So that was a bit, they've already got it, where's mine? I actually sent an email to the company, the publisher, and said, by any chance have you got a tracking number? Has someone in New Zealand grabbed it on the way over? If I was on the way, I'd have my mitt in the air hoping to grab it on the way through. So I'm sure that hasn't happened, but I'd be thinking it if I was living in New Zealand and I saw a plane go over that had Jennifer Clouston's book in it. Oh dear. Okay. Yeah. I'm just about out of that soft golden colour. I like it. It's really, really pretty. It's very wintry for me. Not that I see these colours in my winters, but anyway. Okay. I think I've got one more stitch. Oh no, that's a little bit longer than I thought. So what are you guys all doing? Are you sitting and stitching? Are you knitting? Are you crocheting? Are you cooking something to eat and you got me chattering away in your ear, you poor things? Oh dear. Okay, I might just finish this off. I might move on to one of those blue threads just to make sure that we're on the right track. Oh, don't separate. The joys of stranded cotton. The already one's a bit shorter there, so he's popped up somewhere a little loose. Okay. Now let's have just a little play with those greeny, bluey colours. Well, this will keep me busy for the afternoon in between all those other jobs I mentioned. Get this little clump of flowers stitched. If I'm feeling energetic, I might even come over here and do those because they're sort of part of that. This guy here, I'm thinking maybe I change it up a little bit. I'll leave him, but I will come over here. I wish I had some lace that was this colour, but I don't. Oh, hang on. What if I bring maybe some lace into here? I think it's too small of a spot. Now I'm going to do that for the big flowers. Maybe I play a little bit with something on that one. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. What am I doing? I've got this colour. So I might just I'll start here and slither in there with it. Oh, the bin man's just been. Oh, just pulled the thread out. Seriously. The bin man's just been. Shame he wasn't the mailman. I wonder if the book arrives while I'm with Susanna. That'd be fun. The pair of us. There we go. Now we're away. Oh, now I've got fluff from the back. Goodness me. That colour's going to be great. Should look really pretty. Let's sneak around the edge of this little petal. This is thread painting to the utmost. The only difference is I'm not adjusting any colours. I'm trying to be as true as I can to the fabric, which is, you know, the whole premise of this piece is these pieces, whereas I picked fabrics that were already in the tone of the season. Would have been fun to have a random piece of fabric and then convert it into the tone of the season. That would have been a lot of fun to see evolve. Maybe I do that with the field notes. Don't limit myself to a colour palette of fabric. Convert it into the colour palette that I need. There's a thought. That makes it a little bit more freeing, doesn't it, when you're hunting through your fabrics and you just can't seem to find the right piece. Yeah. I think I'll know more when the first prompt comes out. I think that's where I sort of, everything will anchor down for the 6 months. We'll be in the bunk, in the burrow, ready to roll then, you know. At the moment, we've got an overall guideline, concertina, journal, field notes, seasons, and Edith Holden. So we know that it's a rambling, rolling through the environment you live in or imagine, exploring via a journal. I guess it then comes down to your theme. Are you in England? Are you in a desert environment? You know, I think in different places around the world. I had a friend down the road in Brisbane that loved travelling to America, her and her husband. And she has the most beautiful collection of cactus. And I thought, you know, there's another environment. You might be in a really arid environment. I don't know why Arizona pops into my mind. I apologise if I've got the wrong climate/environment for those types of plants. But for some reason, Arizona popped into my head. Utah. So a journal, if you were Edith living in Utah, in Canyon country, or you know what I mean, or even arid Australia. So if you're out, where could I say, you know, Mount Isa, Longreach in Queensland, or go across to Western Australia and you've got all those fields. Well, I've never seen them, but the way they're pictured in the touristy things is wildflowers. Beautiful, beautiful wildflowers. And then if you're somewhere that's tropical, you might live with a rainforest at your back door. You might live in a cityscape with some gardens. You might not have any gardens and live in a cityscape. So you're going to have to go into your imagination and reference books of an area that you could study via a reference book. That's where my head's all at the moment. The seasons is the challenge, I think, because I certainly don't live in a snowy environment, but it'd be lovely to stitch something along those lines. So I'm going to end that thread because I've scooted right across the top of that petal. And it can be used back through there. So the next colour is that one. There's definitely not much thread there, but it'll be enough to do him through the back there. There's a little bit there. Okay, so let's start again here. Stitching in. Oops. So yeah, for those of you who are planning on joining the Roxy 6-month challenge, what are you guys thinking? Just say it out loud. I'm sure I'll hear you. You don't need to write it in the comments or anything. Have you got your thoughts straight on how you're going to approach the project? I've managed to get my hands on an order of Rachel's new printed fabrics too. And I thought, well, maybe they will take me somewhere in my imagination for that project. Or maybe they'll just send me in a whole nother direction and there'll be something else be created with them. Who knows? That little smudge of white there is just too small for me to be concerned with, so that is going to be washed away in the stitch. Sometimes you just can't capture everything because it's the tiniest of pigment sitting there on that fabric. once I'm finished with the adventures of Susanna, then I'll really put my thinking caps on with the Roxy project. It's still only June, so we have time. Maybe the girls will give a little bit more information in the next few videos. Who knows? It's fun thinking about it, but I do enjoy the process of planning. That colour is a little bit dark. Look, it's okay. I think it'd probably be better once I get out here with the paler colour. There's not a lot of it, and it does suit the fact that these are background flowers. Okay. Feels very slow today. I feel very slow. I feel very relaxed. 46 minutes already. Oh my goodness. But I do think we've got it sorted. I'm thinking along the line of some French knots or colonial knots in the centre of these flowers. I want the roses to be va-va boom. So these can be a little bit, but subtle. I could probably do a couple chocolate French knots in there just to give the hint of another tone. That one there could have one of these little knots. So I think I could certainly play. And there we go. Well, that's good. Got some homework to do. I was a bit lost yesterday. I didn't have really anything to stitch. And I was thinking about projects that Susanna and I have been chatting about for about 2 weeks to do when she's here. And I just didn't have anything really to go on to, bar this one. And I needed to film for you guys to get me set up for some stitching. I just didn't feel like it yesterday. So it was a bit of a loose end actually, but it rolled through to the evening. I didn't settle real quick to go to sleep. I went to bed about 10:30, but at midnight, I was still awake. Yet I dozed on the couch and thought, oh, look, we're dozing. Let's dodge off to bed. But by the time I got to bed, having, washed up a glass and, just fiddled around as I made my way to bed, that woke me up. So by the time I got to bed, I was like, one's not so sleepy now. So I had a bit of an unsettled night, to be honest. Got a little thread that's come through from the back. So I probably feel a little doughy today because of it. Just not as rested. I'm sure it'll all come alive because, as I said, I've got the dog wash lady coming. So I'm going to be meeting her, and hopefully my pair like her. But they won't, and it won't be her. It'll be the fact that they're going to get their fur wet. Bandit in particular is very delicate, yet you turn the hose on and he jumps like a gazelle, chomping at the water in the air, gets absolutely drenched. He's a happy dog. Tell him he's going into a tub for a nice warm bath and a blow dry and all of the trimmings. Oh, no. That's a bit too much. Pepper loves it. Puts on quite a show, lies on her back with her paws in the air so her tummy can have warm water on it. So different. I'm thinking this little guy will be the edge, and I might drop it back to 2. I might do that next because I can certainly put a dividing stitch through, because I can just sit up on that work that I've just done. Even though the other side is not stitched, we can certainly get a little stitch in. So I might just do this guy first. It's going to help define the leaves, the petals from the others. It's that little outline stitch that just, there we go. And I'm trying not to pull it too tight either, so it just rests on top. If I'm too taut with it, it'll sink and it mightn't be as seen. So I just want to be a little bit mindful of that. Right. Now I've got a thread peeking through. Yep. That one there is the one that came through. Because it's so dark, it's very obvious. Okay. Been thinking too about burying some cloth like Catherine did. She did 2 episodes where bound up cloth with rusty items and sticks and bits and leaves, twine, and bury it, and then pull it out and you have a piece of very interesting cloth. I've been thinking about doing that too, because the field notes might be nice stitched onto those types of backgrounds. Be very earthy. But I've probably left my run too late because the project's starting in a week. I might have to do a quick version. The episode I watched the other night, there's someone said how you can make an interesting piece of cloth quickly without having to bury it. And I think burying it in my environment, which has got that humidity, I'd say it'd be pretty much decomposed within 2 weeks. It'd be gone. I can't imagine it would last very long with the moisture and the heat. I think the bacteria would really get cracking. So I might need to watch the little video that she recommended that shows you how to do something quite quickly. Okay. That chocolate is going to work a treat. It is really going to make those flowers lift. And I love how it connects to the branch. Beautiful, if I do say so myself. Ping. Someone's up, someone's out of bed. Okay. I might finish that off and leave it at that because I think I have a plan. I think that's going to work up beautifully. And I've got a good 2 weeks to potentially get to it before I need to be back to film with you guys again. Okay. And I'm wondering about that seed stitch idea. Should I start? I probably wouldn't use this. I don't think it's too thick. Probably this guy, a number 12. That to me feels like a 5. I don't think it's an 8. That's 8. Yeah, that'd be 5. That'd be 8. That's 12. I'm wondering if I do some really fine seed stitch in the back. Let's just have a quick little stitch, and then I can sort of leave it sit there and just look at it, you know, a sample. Don't have a very big piece of cotton. I'll back into this corner here. Maybe I'll make them a little bit bigger than I have in the past. The flowers are going to be quite bold. So they're about 1/8. Now I'm going smaller. I just can't do seed stitch that big. I don't know why. Nope, I don't like it big. It is very blending there. I don't know. Let's try it again. No. It's completely blending to the point where I don't even think I would even notice it. No, I'm just going to leave it for a moment. I'm just not quite ready to commit to an idea there. Maybe it needs to be, hang on, maybe it needs to be running stitch. Follow the lines that are already here and we just do a running stitch. Let me just do a little bit of that. Just get ourselves back up into this corner. Keep it really close together so it's quite intense. Yeah. Oops, that's crooked. Very crooked. Goodness me. Might actually back out of there because I just had another idea pop into my head. What if I was to match then a pale green and the running stitch or camphor stitch in that pale green, then go back to the white, the cream. So I enhance the lines. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to enhance the lines by continuing a running, but really close together. I want it quite intense. Usually they're about 1/4 inch apart, but I'm thinking if I do this, it needs to be that far apart. Yeah. Back up here. That's what I'm going to do, guys. I might just go through to that bottom crease there. There we go. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. It'll build on the lineal stripes. Yep. Got that sorted too. I might have enough thread just to jump over here and run a line through here. The other thing I've noticed is I have a bit of a grain there that's very obvious, so I can use that as potentially my line of guide, is the grain in that. that's good. Look at that. Oh, happy with that. Okay, got plenty I can go on with. That's awesome. This little project's now back on my radar. Oops. Well, I'm going to toddle off. I'm going to leave you guys alone to start your day or finish your day or whatever it is you're doing. And I believe my box of tricks is ready to roll. Okay, guys, have a lovely day and look after yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.